The family of a missing Aiken County mom is speaking for the first time after a series of updates in the case over the last few days. Now this week, charges were upgraded against Krystal's boyfriend, Tony Berry. He was originally charged with kidnapping, but on Tuesday, a murder charge was added. Then yesterday, deputies arrested another suspect in connection to her murder. Darius Berry is charged with accessory after the fact to murder. Krystal Anderson's family confirms Darius is Tony's son. In the last hour, we've learned new information about what police believe is his connection to the case. Arrest warrants say Darius Berry helped his dad burn a car they believe is connected to Krystal's murder. The documents also say they think Tony and Darius worked together to conceal information about the case. Darius's bond is set at $20,000. His father is being held without bond. An arrest warrant for Tony shows what authorities believe what happened to Krystal Anderson in Augusta. First, authorities believe she was killed on August 20th off of Severn Road in Wagner. Witnesses say they saw Tony place her inside the trunk of a Cadillac after a verbal argument. The investigation found later he made a series of purchases that could be used to get rid of human remains, such as a shovel, plastic coveralls, and a box of trash bags. Authorities say additional evidence showed he researched how to carry out the crime. Anderson's sister says it's been a hard week.
I just feel like the system failed me. I feel like I don't know if we would have been able to save Krystal's life because I don't know how soon everything happened. But I do believe that we would have gotten closure a lot sooner.
Of an Aiken mother of 4 is still waiting for police to find the body a year after she disappeared. Krystal Anderson went missing back in August of last year. Her boyfriend at the time, Tony Berry, charged with kidnapping in September and her murder in December.
Tony's son Darius was also charged in her death with accessory to murder after the fact in Aiken County. Investigators say the two of them burned a car that was part of evidence in the woods in Newberry County. But Aiken County authorities released Darius late last month because they did not have jurisdiction in that case. Today, Newberry County authorities say they are expecting Darius to turn himself in there. He'll be charged with accessory after the fact of felony arson.
While Krystal's family is waiting for answers, our Hallie Turner shows us how communication could be a factor delaying answers in this case.
Investigators in Newberry tell me when it comes to homicide cases like this one, where different parts of the crime happen in different counties, information doesn't all come out at the same time, creating a big mystery puzzle. On August 28, Newberry County investigators found this Cadillac on fire, burned so badly they didn't know where to start.
When you have something like this, a car hadn't been entered as missing or stolen. Once we got the VIN to be able to find out all that information.
Leading them to this man, Tony Berry.
Once we run Tony Berry, he's attached to a missing person file as well as Krystal. They sent us the flyers, they sent us the report, and gave us a contact of the investigator that was handling it.
Details began flooding in of a mom missing without a trace, last seen 8 days before the car was found burned.
We coordinated with Aiken, doing technology with phone forensic, triangulate any area we could locate Tony had disposed of Krystal.
Newberry investigators searched a 4-mile radius around the car with dogs on St. Philip's Church Road, but couldn't find any trace of Krystal. When Aiken questioned Tony after his arrest, his son Darius came up in conversation.
They placed themselves here in Newberry County and could not give a legitimate explanation why they were here.
Reports from that night in Newberry showed Darius admitted to investigators he picked up his father at the Love's truck stop just miles away from where Tony's car was burned. So Aiken County charged Darius with accessory after the fact, but so did Newberry.
They just went ahead and charged him with the accessory after the fact because of information that he's given and Tony's given. We feel like Tony was the one that come up here, did that, made the call to Darius to come and pick him up.
Aiken County dropped the charges on Darius 2 weeks ago. Newberry says they've been waiting since December with a warrant to arrest him.
We have an active warrant on him, conspiracy, accessory, after the fact of a felony.
But they never knew Darius was released until News 12 gave them a call.
We thought he was still in jail or still out on that bond.
And of course, we'll let you know when and if he turns himself in. If he does, the sheriff's office says they'll ask the judge to deny his bond. Family looking for answers a year after a mother of 4 disappeared without a trace. Krystal Anderson's missing persons case turned into a death investigation back in August of last year, but her body still has not been found. Krystal's 4 children had just started the 2022 school year when investigators believe her longtime boyfriend, Tony Berry, kidnapped her. Now they're starting the school year this year for the first time without her. Investigators are still keeping hope alive for any kind of development. Hallie Turner in the newsroom now with the latest on Anderson's case.
Yeah, it all hinges back on DNA testing. In the past few months, investigators swabbed Krystal's sister, Shadira, and then their mother for DNA to hopefully help identify Krystal's remains if they're found. But even with testing and Tony Berry behind bars facing a murder charge, the family says the pain runs even deeper.
People get whatever sentencing they get, it still doesn't make the pain go away. To me, there's no complete justice. It's never going to bring Krystal back.
Instead, it brings a year full of painful first.
I remember going into her house last year when this happened, and she had all of these happy back to school notes on the refrigerator and telling the children that she loved them. This is now another year that, the kids don't have her around.
Unwanted separation from Krystal's 4 children, now being raised in separate homes by their fathers.
The biggest thing is having them separated. Serenity misses them. She wants to see them all the time. She tells me all the time how she misses her sister because sisters have a bond just like me and Krystal, and they're not too far apart in age.
And for 7-year-old Serenity, the loss of both parents.
She misses both her parents, as sad as it is, but she misses my sister as well as Tony.
Along with a Krystal-sized hole in the hearts of the rest of Krystal's family.
And I hear stories of people who 19 years they haven't found their family members, 10 years they haven't found their family members. You don't want that to be your story. And that's my biggest fear. I don't want to be sitting here 10 years from now talking to you and we still have not found Krystal. I don't want a story to end like that.
And on August 20th, the family will be hosting a balloon release and a candlelight vigil in Columbia, South Carolina in Krystal's honor, and we plan to be there.
One of the men wanted in connection, now back in custody, this time in Newberry County. But Darius Berry, new at 7 o'clock, Darius Berry just now released on a $20,000 bond. He's charged with accessory after the fact of felony arson. But the victim's family is frustrated with how long he was able to roam free, unchecked, after Aiken County released him from jail. 2 agencies both charging him with accessory after the fact, one for murder, one for arson. But in this case, Aiken County did not have jurisdiction. So 2 weeks ago, they dismissed the case and let him go. But if another agency is charging him, wouldn't there be some sort of handoff instead of letting him go free? Well, that's where law enforcement tells us communication can be complicated. As Hallie Turner tells us, this happens more than you might think.
It does. Aiken County tells me before they release someone on bond, they run them through a database to check for active warrants or hold requests from other agencies. And on December 19th, Darius Berry didn't have any listed in the system.
When they told me that the charges were dropped, she immediately followed and did tell me that Newberry would pick up the charge. They did not tell me that it was going to take so long to happen. I was expecting him to be arrested immediately.
And it shouldn't have taken this long. A Newberry County judge signed a warrant for Darius Berry's arrest on December 28th. But Aiken County had already released him on bond 9 days before. There was no hold request by any agency at the time. And the National Crime Information Center deputies used to track criminal histories between agencies did not show any active warrants. So Aiken County never saw it.
I honestly believe that had they tackled everything and communicated with the other county at the very beginning, there's a possibility that we probably would have already found Krystal.
Aiken County officials tell me they don't check back in on active warrants after they release a suspect like Darius. And Krystal's family believes this plays a big mistake in cases like this.
Darius is the key to this case. He needs to be facing a severe punishment, not a slap on the wrist.
Shadira says she does not agree with Darius making bond in Newberry County.
They need to keep him because he knows. He knows, and they need to stay on him.
Reports show he picked his father up from a Love's truck stop just miles from where Tony's car was burned.
You do not pick someone up
from a burning car and have no questions, because I'm never going to give someone a ride that just set a vehicle on fire.
Leaving his 7-year-old half-sister writing letters to her father in jail, thinking her mother will come back home soon.
Happy Father's Day, Mommy. I love you and I miss you.
And again, just to update that story, Darius Berry just released on a $20,000 bond. It's a story we'll continue tracking for you.